use only renewable energy. Before I get into that, let me explain why we should so that we're on the same page. First, as you can see on screen, it protects the environment. And before I begin, the green check mark is what actually happens, and the red X is what doesn't happen, but people might assume happens. Anyways, back on track. The process of non-renewable energy is not safe. It causes harmful environmental effects because of the unsafe pollution and chemicals it releases into the air. Next, it also protects our health. For the same reasons I've just listed, it also protects our health. Unlike non-renewable sources, renewable sources aren't as harmful for us or the environment. Next, it reduces water waste. Renewable sources of energy don't throw harmful chemicals or waste into our oceans, unlike non-renewable sources. It's much better for our underwater environment. Next, it creates jobs. For this, I'll use an example, solar energy. How many jobs do you think one solar panel gives us? 1? 2? Nope. Let's start at the beginning, making the panel. First, the materials. There are people to make them. Then, people will design them. Then, more people will assemble the panel. Then, even more people will transport the final product. Then, even more people, if there are any people left, will come and install the panels. I've already said people 5 times already. Next, fossil fuels are running out. While you might have thought we had an infinite amount of fossil fuels, they're almost finished, hence why they're called non-renewable sources, since they can't be reused. We should have an estimated 50 to 100 years of fossil fuels left, and if we don't start using more and more renewable energy. So, why don't we? Now that we're surely on the same page that renewable energy is great, why don't we use only renewable energy? Well, we don't because it can be costly. Money. Good old complicated money. Renewable energy uses a lot of it. For example, when I listed all those jobs, each and every one of those workers have to be paid. And that's not the only cost. They have to pay for the materials and pay for the space to make it and still so much more. Next, it still causes pollution indirectly. So when they make the panels, where do they make them? In a factory. It's probably not called the solar panel factory, but whatever. And in case you didn't know, factories pollute, as you can see in the picture above. Another thing, when they're transporting them, what's one way they transport solar panels? Trucks. And it's also probably not called a solar panel transporter, that's just weird, but though they're easy to use, it's also easy for trucks to pollute. One last thing, the workers. Most of them probably drive to work, which pollutes. But that's sort of inevitable, since I'm sure most jobs also have you drive to work. But as they are inevitable, so are the geographic limitations we have. Some geographic limitations. There's no minimum amount of wind, water, or sun at any given point in the world. For example, in the North Pole, there's not much sun, so solar panels would be useless. A place with lots of sun, the desert, but the desert doesn't have any water nearby. There's a lot of places that are limited to that have limited natural resources and are forced to use non-renewable energy. Next, surprisingly, not many people know about renewable energy. That's changed quite a bit recently, and thanks to the internet, quite a lot actually, and a bit more people know about renewable energy. And they also know the dangers of non-renewable energy, but they might not know that there's no such thing as a sun storage box, or wind, or water. Actually, there are water bottles, but that's not the point. The point is, it's not easy to store renewable materials as it is to just have some coal in place. And lastly, it requires space. Renewable energy actually takes up a lot of space. For example, that dam in the picture, it's huge and, well, not only does it take a lot of materials, but it also takes up a lot of space. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you can see why we can't use only renewable energy.